Well, I'd screw Stormy, marry Melania, and kill Eric.
Stephen Colbert has been throwing hard swings at Donald Trump, causing an uproar in the political world. Trump, as erratic as he is, struggled to handle the satire. Let's break down the comedy and the humiliation. Make sure to subscribe to spread the movement.
2024 presidential election is fast approaching. Convicted felon Donald Trump needs all the campaign cash he can get to pay his legal fee.
This one core nails the mark. Trump's financial problems are growing, and his campaign is more about dodging his several legal battles than it is about garnering votes. The fact that a former president requires campaign money to cover legal expenses tells a lot about his fit for office and moral standards. It is a far cry from the dignity our leaders should possess.
Today, he sent out a fundraising email with the subject, "Haul out the guillotine." Now, those of you with a refined palate might detect a subtle note of mob violence there, but Trump can also be very...
Color sarcasm pierces Trump's meager layer of politeness. His emails have a Moby tone, which is not accidental. This is a tactic meant to inspire allegiance and terror among his base. Trump has always thrived on anarchy and division. Gathering support with dishonest means far from presidential. It is manipulative and dangerous.
Monday, he sent supporters an email with the subject line, "I love you," followed by the heartwarming sentiment, "Red MAGA hatch." So beautiful, it reminds me of Shakespeare's famous sonnet, "Shall I compare thee to a summer's day? Buick LeSabre."
This is Trump trying and failing to come off as sentimental. His efforts at authenticity are as fake as his policies. Comparing a campaign email to Shakespeare is laughable and shows how out of touch he is with genuine emotion and leadership. It's all a facade intended to manipulate his followers into opening their wallets.
Trump is also on the hunt for a running mate. Reportedly, he's gathering info from a select group of Republicans by sending them vice presidential vetting paperwork. And we have a copy of the first question. Complete the following chant. Hang your name here.
Your name here bears. Joe on the BP screening process reveals how ridiculous Trump's political games are. His obvious inclination is for loyalists above qualified applicants. This is about finding someone who will repeat his dangerous rhetoric, not about choosing the best candidate for the position. It reminds us sharply how Trump values personal allegiance above national interest.
Top folks Trump is considering include Marco Rubio, J.D. Vance, and Tim Scott. But one notable name not on the list is South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem. She tried her best. She begged.
The VP short list from Trump seems like a who with pine, each ready to court favor with the former president. Kristi's absence, in spite of her efforts to win his approval, exposes Trump's flimsy nature and ego. It's more about who can flatter him the most than it is about credentials. This is some leadership. It's a reality show.
Buddies on the Supreme Court are having a bit of trouble right now, starting with conservative grandpa listening to you talk about your gender studies major, Clarence Thomas.
Trump's buddies on the Supreme Court are having a bit of trouble right now, starting with conservative grandpa Clarence Thomas. Listening to you talk about your gender studies major, Clarence Thomas then moves to Trump's impact on the court, especially his relationships with Justice Clarence Thomas. The moral lapses and close relationship with billionaires mirror the corruption Trump has approved. This isn't just a judicial issue, it's a direct result of Trump's presidency, which has encouraged unethical behavior at the highest levels of government.
Thomas amended his 2019 disclosure form, acknowledging he should have disclosed those free trips from his billionaire donor, claiming he inadvertently omitted the trips on his previous reports. Hey, no, it wasn't a lie. It was an inadvertent omission. Oops-a-daisy.
The concept of an inadvertent omission is ludicrous and echoes Trump's many justifications for his own moral failings. This is the kind of behavior that Trump has normalized, where powerful individuals feel they can disregard the rules without consequence. This harmful precedent erodes faith in our institutions and leaders.
Somebody said, "How do you live?"
Yes, somebody said, "How do you live?" That somebody? His doctor.
We spent a lot of our time, talking about a certain convicted felon. Colbert playfully notes, for good reason, much of the show centers on Trump. Trump's actions have regularly given satire and criticism ammunition. It's not just about entertainment, it's about holding a powerful figure accountable through humor and scrutiny. So make sure to subscribe to spread the movement.
I want to go to heaven. okay? You want to go to heaven. If you don't have heaven, you almost say, what's the reason? Why do I have to be good? Let's not be good. What difference does it make?
The reason to be good is because of heaven. That's like a kid saying, if it's not for the elf on the shelf, I would murder my parents.
Bear's quip on Trump's health metaphorically draws attention to his political and personal life's unhealthiness. His careless actions in the office and outside point to a more fundamental disrespect for ethics and standards. The comic emphasizes how ridiculous his ongoing avoidance of responsibility is.
Start with Lisa in Florida. She says, which Democrat, dead or alive?
Dead. I choose dead.
Trump's shallow thinking on being good for heaven exposes his transactional perspective of morality and helps one to understand how young and self-serving this viewpoint is. This highlights Trump's lack of an actual moral compass and contrasts sharply with the real ethical issues expected of a leader.
She says, which Democrat, dead or alive, would you sit down for dinner with to discuss ways to unify our country?
So he's not a Democrat anymore, but I used to get along really well with Joe Manchin. I got along with him, and he would meet a lot. He said, you're doing a great job, you're a great president. And when this impeachment hoax started happening, he said, I'll never vote against you. You're a great president. And then he voted against me. I never spoke to him again.
Who Bear's sharp wit here emphasizes how ridiculous Trump's obsession with loyalty and grudges is. By selecting a Democrat, Trump reveals his total lack of interest in collaboration between parties or unity. Divisiveness and petty conflicts defined his presidency, and his post-presidency behavior reveals he hasn't changed.
So the Democrat you'd be willing to sit down with is a guy who's no longer a Democrat, who you used to meet with and now refuse to ever speak to again. Do you understand how hypotheticals work?
Trump's answer exposes his transactional attitude to relationships. Someone is cut off entirely if they serve his interests poorly. The way a leader should behave is not like this. Real leadership is working with others, even those you disagree with, for the benefit of everyone. One basic weakness in Trump's character is his incapacity to grasp this.
In a second term, whom he called hostages and victims and warriors.
We're going to do a lot of things. We're going to look very strongly at J6. Those people, there has never been people treated more horrifically than J6.